This has been a major week in terms of insurance news in the state of Florida. And let's call it like it is. We've received a couple of major blows, and I don't know if we can even handle what those are. So what is happening? How do we get here? Let's get into this update. So this week we had Farmers Insurance pull out of the state of Florida. We just had AAA insurance pull out of the state of Florida as well. And these are two very big names in the insurance industry that we really can't afford to lose in the state of Florida. The state, so Jimmy Patronus of the state of Florida, was shocked by the news that both of these companies were going to be pulling out of the state of Florida. And now we have hundreds of thousands of policyholders who need to find new insurance within the next 3 or 4 months. And so that's a real issue because it is a challenge getting insurance. Like, it literally just is. The state-funded Citizens Insurance has become the largest insurer in the entire state of Florida with over 1 million policies and counting. And so there's been some things from the state to try to help mitigate some of that, but there are a lot of restrictions with Citizens Insurance. For example, if you're not in a flood zone, but you need to get insurance through Citizens, they're still going to require that you get flood insurance. They're going to make you do that if you have a Citizens policy. And so therefore, the affordability factor really becomes a question as far as does this really make sense? So where do we stand with all of this? There's a lot of criticism because, as we know, Governor DeSantis is running for President of the United States. A lot of people are claiming he's been too distracted out of the state, which is kind of true. And so by doing that and not paying close attention to what's going on, I have big concerns about what that's going to do about real estate. Quite frankly, I think it is the biggest threat to us, not the hurricanes, not anything else. It's literally the insurance challenge that we face. Now, as of right now, Floridians are paying on average $4,200 per year for homeowners insurance. That is a 41% increase over last year, which is just astronomical, and we are 3 times more than what people in other states pay on average for their homeowners insurance. Obviously, something's got to give. So why are insurance costs going up so much? Well, there have been more hurricanes. There's no question about that. That's a big issue. And, Florida tends to get more hurricanes than any other state in the union. If we look at the time frame, though, between 2017 and 2021, there were over $51 billion of insurance claims that were paid out by the insurance companies. That's a very significant number. The challenge that Florida has is that 71% of that $51 billion went to pay attorneys' fees and public adjusters. Think about that. That is a significant number. That is a real challenge for the way the laws are, the way that they work in the state of Florida, and the insurance companies don't want to play that ballgame. Only 8% of that $51 billion actually made it to the insured, to the person who needed it. And that is the biggest problem that we have here in the state of Florida, is that we need a larger percentage. It doesn't need to be 100. I get it. People need to be represented, attorneys, everything else. But it cannot be less than half. It cannot be 8% of the money only makes it to the person who deserves it because they're the ones who pay for the premium in the first place. So on top of the attorney's fees, the other thing that's making the insurance so expensive is what's called reinsurance. And what happens is the insurance companies actually have to purchase insurance for when there is a catastrophic loss because they don't just have billions and billions and billions of dollars that's just sitting in their coffers. So they actually purchase what's called reinsurance from a bigger insurance company. Usually it's an international company, the Lloyd's of London. And what happens now is that the reinsurance has gotten so expensive because the amount of claims on the reinsurance that they pass that down to the end consumer. And now we have that situation where the average insurance bill is over $4,200 per year. Now, from my perspective, that's a real problem because between the insurance rates going up, the home prices going up, and the interest rates going up, that's a real challenge that we have to get through as a state. Now, there are some things that are being done, but they haven't seemed to make any significant improvement that the general public can see. So, for example, the state of Florida promised $1 billion towards reinsurance if the insurance companies stay in the state of Florida. So they get $1 billion towards paying for that reinsurance. But again, rates have still gone up by over 40% for the year. So it's just not making the difference that it needs to make. And so we've got to do something big in a substantial way here. I think this problem just gets worse, unfortunately, for the future. So let me know your thoughts. What are some things that you would recommend that the state does to help with this insurance debacle that we're currently facing? Let me know. Hope you loved the video. Please subscribe. Talk to you soon.